What's going on, guys? Welcome back to our second exclusive segment from the greatest podcast on turf. I'm Ron.
And I'm Anthony.
And for this exclusive segment, we got our weekly best bets episode. Now, last week, we both did pretty good. I went 3-0 with the 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Eagles.
I went 2-1. I took the Cowboys Bucks over 1-1. Took the Broncos -2.5. Covered easily. The only one that didn't cover was the Jags Texans. That was a fluke. Urban Meyer, sorry. Talk about that on the podcast more. Link in the description. Be sure to check out yesterday's podcast where we talked about things we took away. We talked about all the games, a couple things we took away, a couple of things we were like, what the hell? Other things we were like, oh damn, like nice. Check out our YouTube video, waiver wire pickups. If you're checking that out now, maybe a day late, but still be sure to check it out. Guys that may still be out there, we talked about them. Guys who to look out for, guys who you can maybe wait another day for in the waivers. Then tomorrow's YouTube videos, we got our weekly Stardom Situm video and our 1v1 wager. Just a little preview of that. Ryan's in the lead right now. Kind of a commanding, I need to make up for it this week. Be on the lookout for that tomorrow. We'll be uploading that. With that being said, don't forget to check out our sponsor, my family's business, Little Italy Pizza Shop, Lips. 2 locations. We're not there today, but still the best around. I'm good at what I do. I've been told that I make the best cheesesteak people have ever had. I've been told my hands have a gift. Swear to God that happened. Ryan can attest. We're pretty good. Check us out. Linked in the description below to our website for addresses, menus, all that stuff. Be sure to check it out. But I think that's it, no?
We also didn't mention our consensus bet last week. We were right. It was very close. I was very scared. But the Carolina Panthers ended up covering against the Jets in a very unimpressive showing.
In a very, what's the word for didn't live up to the hype?
Disappointing.
A very disappointing game. Sam Darnold's revenge game. But yeah, picking up off what Ryan said real quick before we get into it, as I said at the end of last video, we're legit, we're raw, we're uncut. We say how we feel. We don't sugarcoat anything like these real guys do that just say stuff to get views. We keep it real. That's why we're the best. Like, subscribe, and let's get into our weekly best bets.
Yeah, so for this week, I'm not as confident this week as I was last week, but there's still a couple of games that I do like. The first game, Saints -3.5 at the Panthers. Now, I know this is a division rivalry. I don't usually bet them, but Panthers didn't look very good against the Jets. And I personally think that the Saints are a much better team than the Carolina Panthers. I think Alvin Kamara is going to outdo Christian McCaffrey just because he has a better offensive line. Jameis Winston looked like a stud last week. I think Saints defense is better. The Saints were very impressive against the Packers team that should have been everything.
Yeah.
And a bag of chips. But they were not. Jameis Winston is going to outduel Sam Darnold because Sam Darnold didn't look very good against the Jets. The Jets are horrible.
Yep.
And they almost lost to them.
Yep.
So I think the Saints are going to be a real team to contend with. Their offensive line is top 10 easily. Kamara's going to have himself a day. Give me the Saints, -3.5 at the Panthers.
I like that. I mean, personally, I'm filling out every game this week. We'll touch on that more later at the end. But now, my first game, this one's easy for me. Rams -4.5 at the Colts. Colts didn't look all that last week against the Seahawks. I mean, they got torched on defense, who's supposed to be the real deal. Their offense looked very dormant. I mean, granted, that's kind of what we expected, though, from the Colts. Their offensive line kind of got eaten up a little bit by Carlos Dunlap and whoever else is rushing who were playing defensive line for the Seahawks. And the Rams looked really good. I think Matt Stafford's looked arguably the best he's ever looked. I mean, he had the arm sleeve on. You saw that. That's different. He looked good. He was throwing the ball downfield. He looked good in the offense. He looked comfortable. He's just got a few little minor tweaks he's got to fix. Announcers were talking about it, but that's easy. I think the Rams are the real deal this year. I think Matt Stafford is the real deal, as I've been saying to Ryan. But that is a conversation we're not going to get onto for time purposes and because that's for a different day. But yeah, I mean, I think the Rams -4 is easy against the Colts. Colts aren't anything special. I haven't really expected the Colts to be anything special this year, even when they had all the hype around them. So, I mean, I'm taking the Rams easy on this one.
Makes sense. The next team I'm going to talk about is, I had them last week. It is the Eagles, plus 3.5 at home against the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers have to travel all the way across the country and come play a Philly team who is just blew out the Falcons. Yes, I know they're the Falcons and I know they suck, but you can't take away the fact that they only allowed 6 points, 2 field goals to Matt Ryan. A lot of people thought this was going to be a shootout. It ended up being a blowout. The Eagles look really good. Miles Sanders looked good. Kenneth Gainwell looked good.
The
Even
receivers
Jalen
look good.
Rigor looked good.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts was on a roll.
Devontae
The offensive
Smith
line is
killed it.
healthy. Devontae Smith, exactly. And the 49ers, they blew out the Lions, but then they let them crawl back in.
Yeah.
I wasn't very impressed with the 49ers. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't. They just lost Raheem Mostert, so now they're going to have a backup running back in there. The defense didn't look much that great because the Lions still scored 30 points on them. So yeah, give me the Eagles at home against the 49ers team who has a lot of work to do and has to travel all the way across the country. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles, I went more in depth on them on the podcast. I mean, I went really in depth. Link below, check it out from yesterday. You don't want to miss it. But I mean, the Eagles they're a tough team to call for. I don't know. I'll leave it at that. If you want my full thoughts, check the podcast out. Link in the description. My next one, Patriots at the Jets. Patriots are 6-point favorites, so give me the Patriots. I know it's hard to bet on the Patriots being touchdown favorites against the Jets, considering how lackluster our offense can be at times. But, I mean, we didn't look that bad against a Dolphins defense who's supposed to be top of the league. Mac Jones threw for almost 300 yards in his rookie debut and a touchdown. Our running backs kind of screwed us over down the stretch. 2-3 lost fumbles. That ain't going to cut it. But, no, I mean, the Jets are very bad. The Jets are very, very bad. Poverty organization, poverty team, poverty franchise. I think the Patriots could easily win this game by more than 6 points. I know it's a division rivalry, like Ryan says, and I kind of learned my lesson last week about betting on division rivalries, hence the Trevor Lawrence jersey I'm wearing right now. But Patriots, I'm very confident in the Patriots until week 4 when they play Tampa Bay. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But Patriots being 6-point favorites, that's another easy one, like the Rams being 4-point favorites to me, so.
That's fair. And with my last bet, Bills, Dolphins, I'm taking the under of 48. Both of these defenses showed out last week. The Bills against the Steelers, and then they still lost. But the defense did pretty good. And then the Dolphins against the Patriots. I personally see this being a defensive just dogfight. Personally, Tua is not the best quarterback in the NFL. He's not throwing the ball downfield. So give me the Bills. I think the only way that it gets over is if the Bills blow them out. I don't really see that. You know, it's the AFC East. These guys, they don't score a ton of points. They just play defense. That's really what they do. They're like the SEC. It's what they do. So yeah, give me the Bills, Dolphins under. 2 defenses that are top 10 in my opinion. Offenses, they ain't gonna do too much.
No, I like that. I agree with that 100%. And then I didn't have an over-under this week, actually. This game, I would probably take the over if I was picking one. But, I got Dallas plus 3 points versus the Chargers. Dallas looked very good against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dak Prescott didn't skip a beat. I didn't think he was going to, I don't know how I thought he was going to come back from that gruesome injury he suffered, but he's back. He didn't seem scared. He was running the ball. He was lowering his shoulder to get extra yards on the read options. He was throwing the ball real good. Dallas did lose Michael Gallup, but Amari Cooper looked amazing. CeeDee Lamb had a couple drops, but he still looked good. I think even Dallas's defense kind of, they gave up a lot of points, but
forced turnovers.
They forced turnovers, and sure, they gave up a lot of points, but if you watched the game, you saw that they didn't look as bad as we thought they would look going against the best team in football. So, Dallas plus 3. The Chargers, they look pretty good against Washington. I feel like their offense kind of struggled a little bit, I would say, against Washington early on. Washington does have a best defense in football. Justin Herbert still looked good though. He did his thing. So it'll be exciting to see him finally be able to probably play in a shootout. I don't know if the Chargers have the firepower to keep up with Dallas if it came down to a shootout. That's why I'm taking Dallas +3, but I think this is going to be a very good game on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. Dallas and probably the over. Like we said, if you went with us last week, you'd have some money.
Yep.
Combined with everything we went 6-1 combined with everything. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
And the one was kind of a fluke, to be honest. Let's be real.
We will talk about that on the podcast, how the Jacksonville Jaguars suck, how Urban Meyer's going to go to USC, it seems like. I don't know. They've been throwing that around on Twitter.
Going crazy on Urban Meyer.
Yeah, and then that picture of James Robinson behind him, that was great too.
That was funny.
So yeah, we will talk about that on the podcast. Be sure to check that out. We have another exclusive segment coming out tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow's Thursday, so tomorrow we have our stardom situms coming out and our one-on-one wager with this week's games, who we like. Talk about more of the spreads, so maybe throw some more best bets in there like we did last week. So be sure to check that out. Yesterday, we talked about our takeaways from every game of week 1 and our waiver wire pickups. Be sure to go check that out. Show us some love. First full week of uploading all football content every day. 2 uploads 3 days in a row. So that's 5 uploads a week. We could spread it out more, but now we want to bring you guys as much content before football as possible so you can get all your lineups and bets in. Keep showing us love. You guys have been killing it. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you.
Peace.